Hi, welcome back to Feast of Ravenmoor. This is going to be session 3. Strap in, turn the lights down low, and run if you hear banjos. Okay, that was a Deliverance reference. Apparently some people didn't get it. My joke fell flat.
I got it.
Good job.
Same here.
Someone didn't get it. Last time, the adventurers arrived in the town of Ravenmoor looking for the missing tax collector Elias Kyle. They spent some time in the village, sort of befriended the mayor, were allowed to stay for the festival, and the festival culminated with the catching of the greased pig. They were able to catch the greased pig, but a strange Venus flytrap-like extraplanar creature exploded from its back, and combat ensued. They were able to defeat the creature, and that is where we stopped. So we will pick up in the hog pen. You guys are still all covered in mud, and there's this dead, like, shriveled body of this pig with this plant-like creature growing out of it. But it is, upon its death, the plant is curling up and going back into the body as well.
Yeah, Nyx kind of just takes a step back. Being in a pen, I'm sure there's not a lot of room.
Yeah, you've got maybe 10 feet on either side of you.
But he's just gonna no.
I'm going to run forward to pull the plant out of the pig because I'm not letting that thing run away.
It's dead. I mean, yeah.
It does name. What was that? So am I able to stop it from receding into the pig?
It's not receding entirely. It's just withering and getting smaller.
Okay, I just was making sure it wasn't gonna disappear and the villagers be like, "Why'd you do that to our pig?"
Around you, you can see that the villagers' reactions are disgust and fear. Like, a lot of them have dispersed, but the ones that did stick around now just sort of look at the mud puddle with this horrified look of what the hell was that on their face.
Are they gonna let us leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nyx would like to leave now.
You don't know what this is? Standing next to the pig?
The two men who brought the pig in kind of hop over the fence isn't very high, so they're able to just step over it. One of them goes and picks the carcass up, and he says, "I don't reckon I've ever seen anything like this before." And the other one says, "Well, to the burn pile."
So this has never happened in a festival before?
They're kind of walking away from you at this point, just with the body of this pig, and they're going over to the the fire leap that he had gone.
I'll walk with him as an ask.
They turn around to talk to you. They say, "We get things like this around here now and then. There's bad magic in the ground, but the dream tender usually protects us from it. But now and then animals get the badness in them."
So this is kind of normal, but a little out there. Kind of normal for you guys, but not all the time. Okay.
So you reach the fire, and they throw this carcass onto the fire, and they just kind of stand there with their arms crossed and watch it burn, and it doesn't burn as a fat hog should. It burns like a smoldering green plant.
Odd.
They say, "Don't let this spoil the festival for you. We'll have to find another hog, and dinner's still on."
Those ticks are calling my name.
Got plenty of jerky.
Blubber jerky.
But people have sort of gone.
Are people going home?
No, because there's still the feast. It seems like the people who were scared and disgusted have gotten over it as quickly as it happened.
Weird.
And they've just like gone back about their business. A few of them have gone over to this fire pit now to watch this thing as it just kind of slowly smolders there. But the others have taken to lighting the surrounding bonfires as the sun begins to go down. They kind of make a nice perimeter of bonfires so that this festival circle is pretty well illuminated. And people lay out blankets like for picnics, and they have benches like tables and stuff. You see Mayor Kriegler take his seat at the head of the table, and he kind of like picks you out of the crowd and points and motions for you to come to his table.
How close are we to the river?
Yeah, so I was to ask.
Relatively.
Well, so we have to just take a quick dip to get the mud off me.
Yeah, same here. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna wash out. Because we're completely covered. in
Sure.
dry mud.
You guys are. Not me.
Yeah, you didn't dive at all.
Nope. Still
I'm
dead.
a dwarf.
I'm
I
sure
like
we're
the
super
mud.
muddy at this point.
Sure. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go to
Mayor
the table.
Okay.
I'll go sit there and be like, oh, my friends will be right there. My friends shall return.
I'll wash myself in a cup of ale. I'll just dump it right over my head.
Sticky.
Just the way I like it.
Might as well. You already got mud on you.
And you two are going to go down to the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a quick dip in the lake.
Then?
The river.
Yeah. As you're like dipping in and washing out, you see the same two men who brought the pig now coming down to the river with the pig carcass in a shovel. And they just sort of like nonchalantly stroll up, toss it in the river. Won't burn. And then they turn around and go back to the festival.
Oh, that's nice.
I'll turn to you and say,
Interesting.
should we grab that?
If you want. I think. Whatever. Hopefully we're not here long enough for that thing to come back to life if it comes back to life.
Well, should we? I don't know, we could take a look, see if there's anything, markings, something like that didn't burn.
Sure.
Alright. So how far into the water is it, like just at the shoreline?
They threw it into the water. I mean, it's sort of, there's a light current, but you can see it still as it's floating down the river. You would need to do some swimming to catch up with it, but it's not a difficult task.
Okay. I guess I'll swim. Do you want me to roll for it?
No, that's fine. There's the current isn't big or strong enough to like pull you or
Okay.
take you off course at all. So yeah, you catch up to this body, and it's charred a little bit from the fire, but it doesn't look like the fire has done any sort of damage to it as far as like eating away at it.
Okay. I guess I'll drag it out of the water.
Mhm.
Or nature.
I guess it depends on what you're trying to discern about it.
If there's any magical markings, anything that would make it appear abnormal.
That would just be perception.
No. Along for the ride. Definitely
Right.
not interested.
20.
There you go.
Yeah, you pore over this thing looking for any sign of abnormality. I mean, outside of the fact that there's a vine creature growing from this pig carcass, you don't see any kind of weird markings or anything. Your best guess would be that the plant matter inside of it is just flame resistant.
Okay. I'll just whip it back into the water. then.
But definitely dead.
Yeah, it's definitely dead. There's nothing alive about this pig or plant.
Back into the water it goes.
Alright, so you toss it back into the water where these guys were probably thinking that the water wolf would get it. Little do they know they're about to eat the water wolf.
We jerked it up something nice.
By the time you get back to the table, the mayor's table has sort of filled in with just a few people that you've seen around town. And the old woman from the spinning shop is there waiting for you. And she's got a big smile on her face, and she's holding this small, circular, like, blue hat.
Is that my hat?
She nods and hands it to you.
How much?
She says, "Please, take it."
Well, thank you. Put the hat on.
She kind of chuckles to herself, and
Ask her, do I look the part?
she says, "Yes, you look great."
I feel great.
So before long, the villagers all kind of fill in. The fire is burning brightly, and the sun is lowering on the horizon. Mayor Kriegler stands up, and he says, "Desna bless our founder's feast, and Desna bless our future founder's feast. Queen, Desna bless our food, Desna bless our guests, Desna bless Ravenmoor." Bows his head. And everybody kind of repeats him, "Desna bless Ravenmoor." They bow their heads as well.
What was that third bit? Our Ravenmoor Queen?
Yes, the Founder's Feast Queen. It is a monthly tradition. After each Founder's Feast, we crown a Founder's Feast Queen.
Can you elaborate?
This time it'll be a king.
Oh God.
Unfortunately,
Sure, not clean.
he says there's
Arm
three,
wrestle match.
he says
It's
there's
on.
3 families participating this year. Unfortunately, only the most beautiful daughter in each family is permitted to participate.
I've been told I'm very dashing by my people.
I'm certain that you are. However, you lack the genetic makeup to qualify as Founder's Feast Queen. He says, you will see the Founder's Feast Queen in action after dinner.
Oh yes, I will.
Who was the existing Founder's Queen?
The existing Founder's Fest Queen has since moved to Magnamar. Perhaps you know her. She went by the name of Deborah Chenowitz.
Do we know it?
That's not a name that you have heard,
I
no.
was gonna say there's nothing.
Magnamar's huge, and for him to just assume that you know her just sort of goes to show that the mayor doesn't know much other than his little village.
Why'd she move to Megan?
She claimed she was too beautiful for our village and wanted to set out for better things.
Oh.
We wished her well, and we sent her on her way.
Who am I sitting next to
One kid.
at the table?
I'm assuming that you're sitting as you are.
Sure.
With Mayor Kriegler at the head of the table, and just some villagers that you're unfamiliar with on the other side of you.
So if we spoke quietly, would he hear us?
The mayor?
Yeah.
Probably, because you're sitting in this close of proximity to him.
Okay.
Unless you can whisper
I just-
in my ear without being inconspicuous.
I wasn't sure how long the festival was, so if it was like
Yeah.
more of a yelling.
No, people are sort of like the people who are talking in like hushed tones around you, and they're just kind of awaiting their food. You can see now that there's people that are coming out with big like pots. They're serving things in bowls and stuff. You get served almost first. It's just the way that it's positioned from where the food is versus where you are at the opposite end. Like, they send people to you immediately, but there's a few people that get served before you. Sort of to Mayor Kriegler's dismay, to the point where he actually apologizes. He says, you must excuse my my servers for not serving the mayor and his honored guests first.
No big deal.
Yeah.
As your honored guest, I have a question for you.
Certainly.
What, we overheard some rumors that these bugs and other things taint your lesser creatures of the valley. To what extent has that spread?
I'm not certain what you mean.
Just your two shovelers over there were talking of the pig, in which was infected with some sort of viney, vile creature. And they made the remark that such a thing is of the norm around here.
I wouldn't say of the norm, but it is not something that never happens. There's a strange magic in the ground here. I'm uncertain as to where it comes from. The slumbering dreamer protects us with her gossamer cloak from the evils that dwell beneath. Every once in a while, some evil is able to slip through the threads. I want somebody to make a knowledge religion check as he says that. If you don't have knowledge religion, just roll an intelligence check. Okay, so nobody seems weirded out by that. He is basically saying that Desna protects them. However, sometimes things creep up through Desna's blessings.
Where do you keep this cloak?
He kind of laughs. He says, It is a figurative cloak. She lays her cloak upon our lands.
Sounds like her cloak needs a stitching.
He laughs again. He says, Perhaps it does. Perhaps we should speak to the old seamstress and see what she can do. She's done a fine job on your headwear.
Oh, she did.
So people arrive with food in the midst of your conversation and just start spooning stuff onto your plate.
Give me a double portion of those tick legs.
Certainly. So
Oh, God.
you're served black mushrooms, just large black mushrooms. A salad of some sort, like just a green leaf salad. The seamstress serves fried silkworms on wooden platters. You're also served the smoked tick legs. And the woman from the mill has made her famous sturge blood sausage.
Ooh. Stirred blood sausage.
Sturge.
Sturge.
Sturges are the big mosquito things
Yeah.
that they keep as pets.
Mm.
Can I make a knowledge nature check on that black mushroom to see if it's
Sure.
edible? 17.
Yeah, it definitely looks like an edible mushroom. It doesn't look like anything strange, like that it would have any sort of like negative effect. However, the salad, upon inspection of that, you're able to identify the leaves as being distinctively serrated. And you think that these leaves are flay leaf, which is a mild intoxicant.
Because I'm a cook, can I also roll with that to find out if I'm knowledgeable of any of the ingredients or anything like that?
Sure.
Can I use my cook
Yeah.
skill? Oh.
Yeah.
20.
You would also be able to identify the flay leaf. What flay leaf does is it fatigues you for an hour and grants a +2 alchemical bonus on saves against mind-affecting effects in that hour, and also causes 1 wisdom damage if you fail the fortitude save against it. The people around you are eating it no problem, and they're eating the same thing.
I kind of like lean over to my friend Baron over here. Take a pass on the salad there, friend.
I'm beat the whole way as I toss the salad over my shoulder.
He says, please indulge in the salad. It grants you a closer bond
Meat.
with Desna. The meat is coming. Enjoy the silkworms and tick legs.
I take a bite of the tick leg and I throw it at him.
What?
What's this garbage? I want beef.
He says, I will not be mocked in front of my people like this. One more outburst and you'll find your way to the cell in my manor.
Relax.
I drown myself in my
Relax on the ale. We apologize for our friend, sir.
Make a diplomacy check.
Oh, I don't have that.
6.
I was gonna say too. Yeah,
Someone else should have spoke up.
he obviously wasn't raised correctly. Please ignore him.
You can make a diplomacy check as well.
He's just a child.
A 74-year-old man
He's no
child.
older than 7.
74.
25.
He says, well, he did jump the flames.
May just not be praised.
I will forgive it. Everybody hits the ale a little hard sometimes.
I kind of just reach over and just kind of like push it away. Just a little bit
I
across
slap
the
your
table.
hand.
You're going to be eating at the children's table if you will stop this behavior.
While that was going on, though, would I be able to slide a hand my salad onto the floor?
Sure.
Why sleight of hand? I just threw it over my shoulder.
I'm going to use your distraction to get rid of my salad.
You also offended the mayor.
Oh no.
That was me throwing a tick leg at him.
11.
He's not paying any attention to you. He's more mad at
Yeah.
Baron. So yeah, you just kind of throw it under the table.
Tasty.
But then the main course comes with roast pig, fresh baked breads, and whole fresh greens. They've also found your bunyip meat and are bringing that as well.
There's a whole pig, but what is everybody else eating?
There are multiple pigs.
We get the good one.
So you're each given like a big like shank of pork. It's a hearty portion for your dinner, and you're free to eat and talk to the mayor if you want to. He's not very not much of a conversationalist at dinner.
Is he here just to be enjoying and eating?
Yeah,
stuff?
he's just focusing on his food.
Does he appear to be avoiding anything while he's eating?
Not exceptionally, no. He's just eating. He eats all of his things. You notice that he does seem a little heavy-eyed after his filet leaf salad, but not like he's passing out or anything like that.
That's what I'm wondering. If I look around, do I see like people tripping out on this flay leaf?
All it really does is make them fatigued. So people get a little tired, and Mayor Kriegler sort of explained it as it is just a way to bring them closer to Desna, because Desna is all about dreams.
Right. As
you're like finishing up, you are approached.
Ooh.
That's CJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's. As this is finishing up, you are approached by 3 women at separate times. Young, beautiful women, one of which you recognize as the trader's daughter.
Hey.
Who was hoping to get a kiss from?
She owes me one.
So, They're each dressed in white silk robes with intricately braided hair decorated with garlands of local flowers. Each one of them comes to you and recounts a story of Ravenmoor's founding, about how Iola Kriegler dedicated her life to Desna and set out on a pilgrimage and came back enlightened, and ever since then the Kriegler family has remained in mayorship of Ravenmoor. They each give you the same story. By the third time, you could probably recite it along with them, but
How many generations back is this, Bill?
lots.
Lots.
And they finish their story with Iola's happy return brought prosperity back to the village by luring the crop's corruption to sleep on the soft wings of dreaming moths. So Iola left in order to quell this darkness that was corrupting all of their crops, came back as a scion of Desna, was able to defeat this corruption and push it back under the ground.
Would that sound right from what we've heard so far? Or would that...
You could try knowledge religion if you're suspicious of that.
20.
The thing that would sound strange to you is that Desna's symbol is a butterfly, not a moth.
But it would sound like a Desna-like thing that could happen.
Yeah, because Desna is about like prosperity and stuff. Desna's not necessarily like the god of farming or anything like that. But for her to fight against corruption wouldn't be entirely beyond the realm of possibility.
Okay. So, just what we know so far, that it sounds like Desna's being
Confused with another god.
Yeah, it is, and it is really strange to you that they don't say the wings of butterflies, but the wings of moths. They each finish by giving the four of you a flower-like necklace.
Anything on that necklace, or just like a lay?
Yeah, it's just a lay. And so you are the final table that they visit. And they take the three of them stand opposite of Mayor Kriegler. And Mayor Kriegler stands and he points his finger to the sky and then rests it on Shell Lupescu, who is the daughter of the trading post keeper. And as soon as he points to her, her mother and father jump up, joyful, and they like run to the other people around them in celebration. Shell gets tears in her eyes and thanks him. And a chair is brought, and Shell takes her place at the mayor's side at the table.
Are the people like cheering?
Yeah, everybody's really happy. Even the other girls are.
I'm gonna cheer with them.
What does the Queen of Ravenmoor do?
Not a queen of Ravenmoor, just a queen of the Founders Festival. And it is just a high honor. And Shell says, I've waited my whole life for this.
Good for you, little lady.
You've waited your whole life to meet a dwarf too, haven't you?
She says, well, I've not met one of your size.
Spitting mad again.
It's okay, he is just a child.
He is a child, isn't
I
he?
slam my mug on the table and cross my arms.
She
I was like one too.
She like puts her hand on your shoulder and she says, I didn't say that I didn't like you.
Fair enough, little lady.
She kind of blushes and like puts her head down.
Can dwarf blush through their beards?
Yeah,
His beard turns red. Redder than it already is.
Right.
So yeah, the festival sort of starts to wrap up at this point. The sun is going down. The fire is kind of dim out. People pick instruments back up when they're done, and they kind of make their rounds playing accordions and
I played my
plucking
jug.
banjos and.
I'll pull the jug out.
I want to find that.
The old men would probably bring the jug to you and tell you.
When that happens, I'll do some prestidigitation.
Put on a show.
Put
Cool.
on a show.
I want to find that guy who challenged me to a raven fight. I want to kick his ass.
Okay.
Is that done? The Raven fights?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah, it's over.
won?
Vinegar Tom.
Yeah.
The one that he said was going to win.
Yeah. Just as it's predicted. Vinegar Tom, 2-time Raven Fight champion.
So I lost.
I put
Yes.
20 gold on this dude.
Yeah, so you win 40 gold.
Oh.
I lost 5 gold.
The mayor tells you before you leave, he says, enjoy the final moments of the festival, and my home is still open if you need a place to stay for the night.
I think not.
I'm going to take you up on that.
This.
Yeah, I think maybe rest. Nothing really happened out in the field.
I'm gonna go back to my hammock I created yesterday.
I'm gonna
He says, well, have it your way.
wander that area that we slept yesterday. Just kind of looking, trying to just feel for something different.
Okay.
And then I'll probably take him up on that offer.
And what are you going to do then?
I'll probably go up and just check the area out. And I'll say it should come along just because, and then we'll head back to the mansion. And then I'll
Sounds good.
tell the man, we'll be back. We're just going to go
Not quite
check
ready.
on where our comrade decides he wants to sleep for the night.
He says, of course, I will inform Leonard of your arrival, and he'll see to it you get to your rooms.
That guy.
Your brother, son, you mean?
Man.
He's a bit rough around the edges, but he's just ensuring that nothing happens to me or the town. He's untrusting of outsiders. You'll have to excuse him.
Maybe if he didn't try to take his hoe.
I wanted to see his sickle. I just wanted to look at it.
So you're gonna finish
Trying
up.
to tickle his
You're
pig.
gonna finish up with the jug band, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna head over to your hammock. Okay, and you find Tom and Whiskey Tom, or not Whiskey Tom, Vinegar Tom.
Tom Vinegar and Vinegar Tom.
Yeah. Perched on his arm, and he's like talking to him, happy, with a nice little sack of gold in his hand.
And I just like call down my bird and just like have him do like a flyby of this Vinegar Tom, spook him out a little bit.
He says, "Oh, it's you!" Vinegar Tom kind of flies up in the air, but comes back and sits next to his master.
I would go with him first to see this before going to the field.
He says,
I'm gonna run myself.
well, looks like Vinegar Tom's a winner again. 2 times.
Tell me, when Dreamer here defeats Vinegar Tom, are we going to roast him on the fire?
No, Raven fights are never to the death.
Okay.
It's breaking the rules. Gotta keep the Ravens and bring them back to fight next year.
Alright, well, have at ye.
He says, you sure you want to go through with this?
Yes.
Just in the background. Do it!
So he looks in his coin purse. He says, all right, well, first things first, what's the wager?
50 gold?
Damn.
I can cover that.
100 gold?
I can't cover that.
50 gold.
So he like looks at his arm. He says, "You got this. One more in you, and we'll double our profits." And he throws his arm out there.
I'll just have him like circle around and be ready.
Snipe him before he gets off the ground.
All right. Roll an initiative for your Raven.
Yeah, go Raven. That's so Raven. 7. Because poor rolling is poor.
Okay. Well, it would seem that Vinegar Tom is a tad bit faster than Dreamer, or at least a little quicker to react. So he is able to bridge the gap between them and kind of swoops at him from the bottom and tries to peck at his underbelly with a 14 to hit.
That it will not be enough.
Alright, so Dreamer is able to dodge out of the way and turn for counterattack.
Well, I'll just go ahead and bite this little guy.
Alright.
Does a 13 hit?
13 does not hit.
Well,
so these
that's
ravens
cool.
are clashing in midair.
I'm just gonna get the sidelines.
Come on! This time, Tom is gonna try a talon attack. An 18 is probably gonna hit you.
That will
correct?
hit. That will hit my poor little Dreamer.
Let's just use a d4 for damage, because they're actually damaging each other rather than attacking a person.
Okay.
So he hits you for 3 damage.
Alright. Dreamer's, ready for anything and go back for the...
Dreamer is exceptionally hardy for a raven. Vinegar Tom looks rather large, but not exceptionally
Sure.
strong for a creature of his type.
He'll get a 22.
That is a hit. Dreamer is mad at that attack.
Yeah, no, he's a little pissed. Just D4s, you said?
Yeah.
So 2 damage.
Alright, so
Plus-
he...
Technically be a -4.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he's able to hit Vinegar Tom with a bite attack and kind of clip one of his wings, so Tom's struggling to stay aloft, but he does and comes back for a counterattack with an 18.
That'll hit.
So he bites you for 4 more damage.
That's rude. Alright, well, seeing what's unfolding, can I Murderous Crow? Can I cast Murderous Crow on my crow to attack the other crow?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. So he needs to make a DC 14 save.
Okay, is it a reflex save? Okay.
So I'm clawing out your eyes. So Dreamer comes up, becomes this super murder fiend and just like tries to bite and claw out Vinegar Tom's eyes.
How long is
And-
that last?
1d4 days.
And he does. He claws and bites at his
Nice.
eyes so badly that they just become like swelled shut. And like completely losing his bearings, Vinegar Tom just kind of flutters down to the ground and just looks around. Where Tom, his owner, runs over to him and he says, "No, you did good. You done good. You done good." And he says, "We throw in the towel. We throw in the towel."
Okay, he's still blinded for 4 days.
Yeah.
So
My God, he
Take
broke it in half.
So he pets his raven, he cages him and gets his coin purse out. He says, "You got some devil in your bird."
it's not necessarily a devil you need to be worrying about. Desna be praised.
You want it. It's over.
I'll throw I'll take 5 coins out and throw them at his feet and be like, for the inconvenience.
He picks him up. He says, "Appreciate it, stranger." And he takes his cage and heads back to his home.
How does he look after this? Like, mad or just like, oh, down?
He looks like he is showing a concern for the well-being of his pet.
Okay.
He's mad that he lost, sure, because it looked like Vinegar Tom was gonna run away with it. But blind, he couldn't keep fighting, so...
Throw in the towel. Oh no!
So back at the campsite,
The stones.
you can see that your hammock is still there, undisturbed.
As it should be.
Somebody, Bunyip ate it.
The bunyip's dead. We killed
There's
it.
another bunyip.
How many bunyips do we have to kill? Like 8?
Just one.
Okay, he's
He came out of the water and ate the hammock.
and then swam away.
This is for killing my friend.
So yeah, you arrive, and I mean that strange effigy is still there, but it's not giving off any sort of like aura or anything like that. It seems unchanged. Nobody has visited the stones today because everybody's been at the festival, so nothing about the stones is different. It's pretty much exactly the same as you left it this morning.
Can I search for like a hole in the ground or something along those lines that appears like unnatural, or like dirt mounds or just unnatural?
Sure, you can
occurrences?
make a perception check, or you could like take your time to do so and take 10 on perception. So it would just be as if you had rolled a 10 on your die, or you could take an exceptionally long time and take a 20 on perception as if you.
Is that like hours?
No, but
I'll just do that.
Normally
And then
taking a 20 is like if you rolled it 20 times. So.
I'll take an exceptionally long one then.
okay.
Really thoroughly check.
So as he's looking around at the ground, what are you going to be doing?
Climbing in my hammock and sleeping off the drunk.
You're just calling it a night.
Yep. We'll deal with it in the morning.
So it's not long. Like you're examining all the stones, and it's not long until you hear the snoring of Baron in his hammock.
How far would you say I'm away from him?
Not very. I'd say the whole stones area is probably only about 50 feet in diameter.
Sounds like a chainsaw going off.
Mighty loud for a kid, you know. Jeez.
I'm 74 years old.
If I broke concentration to throw my dagger to cut his hammock, like from thing, him fall, like would it?
That would interrupt your perception. Yes.
So wait till after and then do it.
Shut up!
So you spend a fair amount of time
That's fine.
observing this area, and you see no signs of anything strange in the stones or anything strange in the ground. What you do see is once you sort of give up and you become just overwhelmed with the sound of his snoring, and you finally turn over to look at him and wake him up or something, you see a dark figure approaching him as he sleeps.
So it's approaching him but not standing over him?
Right.
Does it appear to, when I turn, does it appear to see me?
You're on the other side of the stones, and it's dark. Like you can just see its silhouette. It's very thin, and appears to have long hair. Just based on the silhouette.
I'm gonna kind of crouch down and start to crawl kind of my way over there, and continue to watch.
Okay, make a stealth check. Are you gonna move, or are you just gonna crouch and try to stay out of sight?
I was just gonna crouch and kind of. I guess I was gonna stay out of sight and then maybe start to crawl towards. This is like a grassy area on the outside of the stones, though, correct?
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought I was.
Yeah, it would be hard to move across the stones while crawling.
Okay.
It's not hard to like run across the stones, but to like crawl across the stones because it's so uneven, it would be difficult to do.
I guess I'll just crouch then
Okay.
and wait to see.
Sure.
But I'm also gonna unsheath my star knife.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, from where you are, if trouble does go down, you could always jump up and throw your star knife because it's well within throwing range.
Okay.
So, just make a stealth check. You can have +4 on it because you have cover. In addition to whatever your normal stealth would be.
14 and 7, 20.
So it approaches, and you see it like lean down over him.
I'll tighten the grasp on my starter. But can I make a perception check to see if I can see like the figure holding anything or?
Sure.
13.
They appear unarmed.
Okay.
In fact, you see both of their hands come up as it like raises them and like shakes the outline of Baron in his hammock. So yeah, you're shaken and sort of roused awake.
By golly, what?
And a finger comes across your lips, and it is Shell Lapescu, still dressed in her evening gown type apparel that she won the festival with.
I'm shaking my drunk off. I go out for a smooch.
She kind of recoils. She says, "Not here."
I can just imagine a dwarf doing that.
Oh, it worked.
Where then?
She says, "There's an old farmhouse on the outskirts of town called the Chenowitz Place. Follow me there."
Let me seek my friend out first.
She sort of like runs her hand down your chest a little bit, and she says, "This is something that would better be taken care of just the two of us."
You got it.
Child.
So she looks around and she says, "I don't think anybody's gonna see us. Come on." She takes you by the hand and kind of like urges you out of the hammock. So from where you are, you can hear a woman's voice.
Just perception to see if you could hear the conversation.
Yeah, it's up to Brandon if I can make that check.
Sure.
Okay. 13.
You just hear muffled, and then at the end of it, you hear him say, "Well, alrighty."
In my mind, I probably think I know what's going on, but I'm still gonna creepily follow them as they take off.
Okay, so they're moving rather quickly and not really paying attention. She's kind of dragging you along. Your legs are shorter than hers.
My tongue's lolling out of my mouth. All excited.
This is sort of a depiction of what she looks like. So she's just like urging you along. She says, "I've never met a dwarf before. Real curious about you."
Oh god.
Once you know dwarf, you ain't going back.
Try to stifle a laugh as I hear that.
Make a stealth check to follow along.
13. I don't get any bonuses this time.
Your dexterity.
13.
Okay. Yeah, that's plenty. You're kind of sticking to the shadows, and she's also not being exceptionally careful. She's not looking around or anything. So she leads you to past Vioric's house, like to the outskirts of town where all the cornfields are. And she says, "Through here. The road up to the house is long overgrown." And she kind of starts moving through the corn.
No.
If you say so.
Um,
I'm a little apprehensive, but I'm a one-track mind right now.
She takes you through the corn onto... You're not in the corn for very long. You kind of come out onto this really narrow little road. And at the end of the road, probably 150 feet in front of you, there's this like dark, sagging farmhouse. She...
Sense motive on her. Are you sure this is a good place to do this? 17.
She kind of like laughs strangely, and she's like, "You're questioning my motives?" She says, I didn't drag you out here like this for no reason. She starts, tears kind of start to well up in her eyes, and she says, you can't follow me all the way here and leave me.
Okay.
You definitely feel as though something is wrong.
I'm gonna super apprehensively continue to walk with her, but
Apparently, go to have sex. Whoa.
the benefits outweigh the negative.
I don't wanna, make her feel bad. Yeah.
She's
So,
crying.
on the road, there's cornfields on either side of you. And Shell is leading the way, kind of towing you behind her, when she stops, like in the middle of the road. And she says, grabs your hand real tight and she says, what was that? Make a perception check.
13.
That is still good enough to hear something moving in the cornfield.
Stop! In the name of love. I'm just gonna yell it into the cornfield. Yeah. Not in any particular direction, just in the general vicinity.
Okay, so you do not receive a response. She says, "Must just be the wind. Let's keep going."
Do I hear him yell this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep trotting on, I guess.
Where are you in relation to them? Okay. As she's like kind of creeping forward, a sturge flies from the corn and blocks your path. And she screams. She's taken by surprise. And the sturge like just sits on the ground and crawls around a little bit, sort of approaching her, but just acting like an insect. And she puts her hand over her heart. She says, "Oh, it's just a sturge." And then another one appears. And she says, "Oh, it's just 2 sturges?" At this point, she lets go of your hand and starts to back up.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of him. Piece of cake.
2 more sturges.
Alright, yeah, this might be a little bit of a challenge, but I still got this.
I know what's at stake.
You then hear a voice. Well, well, well. What have we got here?
And an inbred hillbilly.
And 2 robed, masked men stand on the outskirts of the cornfield. They're wearing hastily stitched together, like, white, almost comparable to, like, tracksuits. Like, pants and, like, a big, long shirt. They have masks on that look like they're made of wood scraps and like almost like a paper mache type thing, and they have a long mosquito-like horn coming out of the front, kind of like a witch doctor mask.
That's cool.
And they have in their hands rusted sickles.
What, you have to wear a mask because your faces are so ugly no one can look at you?
He says, "No, we wear these masks in praise of the Gossamer King."
King? I've heard of the queen, but who's the king?
The other one who hasn't been talking laughs. He says, "You'll meet him soon enough," and they charge forward to attack you.
That's nicely, gentlemen. I don't want to have to rip this mask off to see that ugly mug of yours. So I'll just take your head off and not worry about it.
So these cultists go first. Because you were sleeping, the only thing that you have on you is your star knife.
Lovely.
You don't have armor. You don't have a shield. But you're not entirely unarmed because of your faith. You keep your star knife close at all times. So they run over with their sickles.
With my AC of a 10 at the moment?
Yes.
Shit, now I do have to intervene.
And they attack you. They swing wildly as if they have never swung these sickles at a human being before. First one gets an 11. No, first one gets a 9. Sorry. Second one gets the flanking bonus. So the first one runs up, he swings at you really clumsily, yelling the whole time. And the second one comes up and gets a 16 to hit. So you feel the bite of this rusted sickle in your back. You take 4 damage.
And a 10 is shot.
And you have to make
Oh, here.
a fortitude save.
You can do it! 17.
Okay. You know, like, you felt the bite of poison before, so you know that this blade was poisoned. Then it is your turn.
I'll take a hack at the one that just hit me.
Alright, you're gonna have to draw a weapon,
Yep.
which is gonna provoke 2 opportunity attacks. Again, it's really clear that these are not trained warriors, and they're just fanatics wielding sickles, trying to murder you in this field.
Alright, so just a power attack him.
Okay?
19.
Yeah, that's definitely a hit. Their clothing, while made sort of intricately, does not offer much in terms of protection.
7.
You hit them with your star knife, you just wind up and you just punch forward with your star knife and you plunge it right into the chest of one of them. And they like drop their weapon immediately and clutch their wound and fall backwards. While the other one, actually, while Shell screams out, "Pa! What have you done?" and runs over to console, who you now know is her father. She is gonna try to make a heal check on him to stabilize him because he is dying.
Can I interrupt?
On your turn, the Sturges, still not knowing what's going on, are gonna converge on you because they are just hungry insects.
Where's the fly swatter when you need it?
First attack, 21 is gonna hit you. So its bite, they're small stingers. So it's not the stinger that actually hurts you, they just attach to you. So you feel this 1, 2, 3, 4 stingers all sink into your skin.
Oof.
And you feel them start to drain the blood from you. And that is your turn.
So, I guess I'll come sprinting out of the forest here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll just say, in the name of love, huh? And then I'll say right. 18?
Yeah, that's a hit.
Like you wouldn't follow her too.
1d6.
As I'm swatting at these bugs trying to get them off me.
Well, I would agree with you. I just didn't say I loved her when I would be following her. 7.
Yeah, you run up and you just squash this Sturge.
Right on his back. Here, sit still, squish.
You can pull one of those off. Then it is the cultists' turns, and they are just going to continue to make efforts to stabilize their dying family member. So, can you move that other cultist? Do you want to take an attack of opportunity as it breaks away from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Since I'm right behind? Or I'm not behind.
Yes, power. So
You can't power attack on an attack roll.
yeah, that's true. That'll still hit. That's 23.
Yeah.
7.
So yeah, before he can make a move to aid his father, he turns and you turn and you just slash him across the back and he falls unconscious on the ground as well.
I yell at her to call her bugs off.
And Shell yells, "Please stop!
Call your bugs off.
She says, I can't! They want your blood!"
Well, distract them then.
She doesn't pay any attention to you and she just keeps trying to aid her dying father. And this time, it looks like she is able to stop the bleeding. That makes it the Sturge's turns. So, they're attached to you. You take 3 points of constitution damage
Yeah,
because 3 of them are attached.
Damn.
It's your turn.
I guess I'm just gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry. You would have went before the Sturges. My bad. So you might only take 2 if you can take 1 off of you.
Can I make like a sweeping attack and just try to cut their suckers off?
No, you could try to make an escape artist check to escape the grapple,
Yeah, that's true.
but you might be better off just attacking one.
Yeah, we'll try.
Okay.
And reroll.
Almost. That was almost a 20.
Yeah, so you just wiggle around, just driving their stingers in even deeper. And
So-
you feel the blood being drained from your body, and it's your turn.
What in the hell are you doing? Attack them! So I'm gonna step up right here.
Okay.
Take 23.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
That poor Sturge.
Yeah, you double quarterstaff this thing, you hit it in the head, you hit it in the ass, it just busts on itself and
Well,
explodes in a blood.
also attacking your comrade.
Feels good. This is what you get for going off with strange women.
Shell is gonna move over to attempt to stabilize her other family member. She runs past the 2 of you, so you could attack her if you wanted to.
This guy! Savage!
I'm gonna drop my start off and we're gonna smack her anyway.
You're gonna just unarmed strike her?
Yeah.
You gotta drop the stun if you can just do it with the other hand.
Pimp slap. Yeah.
Wow!
God.
You rolled a 19.
Yeah, you hit her.
So unarmed strike
It's
is
a D3 plus strength.
1.
4. For a
You
pimp
hit her.
slap.
You hit her hard. She just kind of like recoils and puts her head down and ducks as she runs past you, hoping that not to feel the wrath of your quarterstaff.
I'm like, really?
You would too. She lured me into a trap.
No, there's a difference between the 2 of us. I would not do that. I'm not the one who throws children or wants to feed children to giant animals.
I was not going to feed him to her. The beast. It was just a decoy. He was in no harm.
Did you see the bunyip coming at me? You think he was in no harm if we would have went that route?
We would have retracted him before it got that far.
Jeez.
Attack the other bug.
It's your turn.
Free yourself instead of wiggling.
So I guess I'm just gonna punch the bug now.
Okay. You can attack it with your star knife.
Yeah.
Just
Sure.
break down on your body.
Yeah, 16.
I think that. Oh yeah, he's attached. So that's definitely a hit.
9.
Yeah, you
Mini crit.
just impale it through its head, and you pull its body off and shake it off of one of the blades of your knife.
Oh, that worked out somehow.
You still got one on your back? Hey, is there something on my back?
That one is actually probably like on your chest by your heart, so he's got the biggest drinking area. So he's still attached to you. He's gonna deal 1 more point of blood drain constitution damage. And then it's Quinn's turn.
So I'm annoyed with him,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to help you. And my thinking is we need to find out why they're attacking us. So
That's why it was an unarmed strike. I wasn't gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
I was just leaving a mark. I was just leaving my mark.
Oh god.
And I'm gonna try to stabilize him.
Okay, make a heal check.
This is definitely not Desna's honor. She's definitely not walking in Desna's honor.
25.
Yeah, you stabilize the dying.
Kid. Or is he the kid?
He's young. I mean, he's probably around Shell's age, 18, 19.
What'd you do?
She looks to you, seeing as she is the only like conscious person, and she looks to you like with this real look of fear and despair, and she says, "You should have let us take him."
Why?
She just shakes her head. She's not going to respond to you. It's your turn.
Kill this last stupid bug and
1.
18?
Yeah, you definitely hit.
7.
Yeah, you strike down and you get the last of these mosquitoes off of you. You got 4, like, small knife-sized holes in your body. She,
The Gossamer King, who is he? I'm not playing around. You've played me for the fool all I can handle tonight.
She's the Gossamer King. He takes us. One of us a month. I'm the Founder's Feast Queen. I didn't want him to take me.
Who is he?
I can't say.
Oh, yes, you can.
He's always listening.
He'll meet my Starblade if he's listening right now.
You and your... You don't have any clothes on.
I'll let it all hang out. I don't need no clothes where I'm going.
She says,
Killed by bugs.
she
I
says,
did not.
"Please, stop arguing and choose one of your own to take my place."
We're using her as a decoy now. Don't...
We're not using her as a...
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
We won't kill her. She is just luring the Gossamer King out so we can take him down.
How about we use one of them?
Not my family.
Well, we gotta choose. And it's
You
not
need
gonna
to-
be one of us.
It will be one of your family members unless you tell us more. Who is he? Where does he come from?
I'm gonna make it...
How long's he been here?
Make a intimidate check.
I was gonna say I'd like to make a diplomacy check. After.
Intimidate's better.
He's sort of intimidating. I mean, you can try diplomacy.
11.
She's real weak, and you definitely have the upper hand. So she looks down, and she like looks up at the sky and looks back down. She says, "Glonder." You would know the name. Glonder is the god of parasites and disease.
Oh.
He is depicted as a giant mosquito. And in Desna's lore, Desna went to the ethereal plane and saw a being in a cocoon that looked like it was struggling to get out. Thinking it to be some type of moth or animal or butterfly that was stuck and going to die, she helped this being emerge from its cocoon. The being in the cocoon ended up being Glonder. So Golander is an evil deity that Desna inadvertently released into the material world.
It ain't good.
Not trying to fight no god.
Got this.
How about we get you 3 out of here, and you tell us where to find him. We'll grab our group, and we'll go.
She points a shaking hand to the house.
One of them comes with us.
She says,
I don't need your permission to take them either.
she
I
says,
think you do.
there, in the cornfield, at the altar.
Well, get them out of here. You go find your armor, and I'll go to the mayor's house and grab our friends.
I'm gonna hog tie the dead.
Is his armor, is his Hymak and armor at the same altar that you were just talking
Yes.
about?
Oh, his stuff is there already?
His stuff is at the stones. It's not the same altar that I was talking about. No,
Oh.
she's talking about an altar that's like way on the outskirts of town.
Oh, it's not the house in front of us. There's no altar in front of the. I think at the house in front of us.
It's behind that house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Just stop fighting, and can I heal him like his?
I can heal myself.
it's just his hit point maximum is reduced,
Oh, okay.
so he didn't actually take any damage.
Okay.
So no.
Still got 30 out of 36.
I'm gonna tell her to leave, and either hide somewhere or something with her family.
She says, she nods. Her family is unconscious, but she's able to like rouse them and sort of explain to them what's going on, and they shake their heads no at first, and she says, this is the only way that I'm gonna survive. And they, with their masks now off, they give you like really dirty looks, and they say, you should learn not to meddle in affairs that don't concern you.
I'm gonna say you should thank me for saving your life.
As she walks off, I point at her and say, "You lied to me. I thought we had a good thing going."
He says, there'll be nothing to thank when the whole village of Ravenmoor is dead. Let's go.
Not before we take this deity out and return this unsacred ground back to Desna's honor.
Now that's an idea I can get behind.
So, Glander, the evil deity. Ravenmoor was not what it seemed. This is going to be a good place to stop for now. Tune in next time for, hopefully, the exciting conclusion. Until then, we're Dudes of Divination, and we'll see you at the table.